Alright, welcome back everyone. My name is Tom, the consultant. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to demonstrate, kind of do a demo of the new tool that was released just last night with last night's maintenance, Monday night's maintenance. So this video is Tuesday, kind of just afternoon, and we're going to be looking at the Roulette Area Tracker. Plus, I'm going to kind of go over some updates, kind of some small updates on kind of what occurred yesterday in the in the updates. So one of the most notable things that kind of changed was with roulette strategies. Now these have been a little hard for me to get to lately because they do take a little bit of time to create all of the content around them. I mean, the strategies are out there. I don't need help with building strategies. I need help with building the content and you know the presentation of these. So this is kind of what takes a little bit of time. I've got I mean, there's hundreds, maybe even thousands of many different strategies, you know, not even with just roulette. So one of the things you may notice, you know, the images for these for each strategy actually shows up now rather than just a generic 777 suite image. But if we go into these, I'm running this through a VPN, so it's going to be a little bit slow on my side. So all of this up here is the same. Actually, one more thing that is going to change. So I do plan on doing a video for all of these strategies. So there's going to be kind of a backlog. But eventually, when you do kind of come in here, you're going to see a video. It's going to be an embedded video that you can click and you can listen to and watch the strategy unfold as you're kind of reading through it and following in here. So again, just a random image. This is really meaningless, but as you kind of come through here, you can kind of see the strategy, okay, if you will, and the placement. So these were super small at the time. You could see that there was a picture, but you couldn't see what it was. So first and foremost, made the images a lot larger. Of course, they do scale, so depending on what platform you're on, they are gonna change. But for the most part, if you're kind of following through here, you should kind of have a pretty good idea of what's going on. And of course, you can always come up here, click on these, and it'll show you straight up, you know, what the strategy actually is. Press back, and it brings you back here. Okay, that's basically what the update was. There's a lot of stuff based around the strategies and a couple other things on the back end that I kind of did. You guys won't be able to see, but for the most part, let's go back and get into the tool that was released with the update as well. Roulette missing number. This might be coming next week. Okay, this is currently in the works. Okay, I'm maybe about a third of the way through, maybe 25%, about 40% of the way done. So, Roulette Area Tracker. So let's go ahead and get in here and kind of give you guys a little bit of run. I'm going to try and resize this a little bit. All right. So what you're going to see here is the roulette wheel with individual sections in here. And you're going to have a little bit of a depth tracker here as well. You're going to have the session timer, like I said. Two of the things that you're going to see on everything is going to be session timer and the number history list. Okay. And then, of course, down here you've got the roulette wheel. All right, or not the roulette table. So this is going to act as the felt and the numbers that you see under here. So to start, there's really nothing to do. You know, as the numbers come out, I'm actually going to get this ready. So we're on Sol Casino. We're going to go to what is it? Come on. It's a little on the slow side. Again, this is my VPN, not. Come on, I did click it. Not to mention, I'm not exactly on. I'm on my laptop. My big computer, what I would normally do this on, and you know, kind of what I've done videos for trading in the past. All of that was done on a much larger computer, way more RAM. So this is my work laptop that I do all of my work from. So it's a little it's getting taxed quite a bit. All right, so we're going to input the last few numbers here. We're going to start with 32, 36, 10. Let's see, 32, 36, 10. 32, 36, 10, 15, 15, 5. 15, 15, 5. Let's see, 17, 13. 17, 13. All right. So, what you're kind of noticing here is, yeah, you got the number history, and this will display the numbers in order of which you push them from left to right. Now, the important part of this tool is the highlighting around the wheel. So this corresponds with the number history. So as the numbers drop off, the highlighting will drop off. So I've got this set on the back end. You guys can't change this. I don't know if I'm going to change it, you know, and allow the end user to dictate how much to keep track of, because this wheel only has 36 numbers. Well, 37 plus, you know, including 0. But I played around with 20 and 25, and I mean, it was just, I mean, numbers were just all, I mean, everything was highlighted. And it could have just been the session that I was playing. So 13, 17, 13, 17. Wow. Yeah, it looked like a uncoordinated mess. So I really didn't. I shortened it to 15. 15, in my opinion, looks a little bit better, in my opinion. So, how do you use this tool? Well, first of all, you can look over here on the depth. There's a couple different variations where you can use this. You can look at the depth. You can see that I'm going to mispronunciate this because it's French. Jeu zero, which is basically zero game. This was 6. Basically, this is zero game. And you'll be able to see us over here. So, zero game, Voisois, which is Voisois du Zero, which is neighbors of zero. Orphelions, which is orphans, and the reason why they're orphans because they're separated on opposite sides of the wheel. And then you've got tiers du cylindre, which is a third of a cylinder or a third of a wheel. There you go. That's a little bit of a breakdown on the lack of French that I have. Was that 14? So now that we've got, you know, some information here, what does this tell us? Okay, well, this tells us that game 0 or zero game hasn't been hit in six turns. Voisois hasn't been hit in 6 turns, and so that kind of gives us a little bit more of a bias. It means it tells us that the ball has a bias for this side of the wheel. So you can kind of make a little bit of an educated guess on, you know, you can bet on tiers and orphans, right? On that side. So let's see, 20, what was it? We got 14, we did 28. So 28 landed in Voisois. Okay. Now, I think Game Zero's got, what, 7? Yeah, yeah. Game Zero, Zero Game has the least amount, and then it's Orphans, and then it's Tears, and then Voisois. So it's it's a pretty fun way to play, in my opinion. So was that 34? 34. Yeah, see, 34 again. You still kind of have this biased over here. Now, I mean, one thing you could do is you could come over here. I always actually kind of start down here on the 10-cent chips, mainly because I either like to martingale or I like to Fibonacci, and you know, with either of those betting progressions, you really don't have much of. I mean, you don't have a cap, right? So you know, you don't have a cap. So betting on Zero Game is only 40 cents. I don't know what the payout on these are. So the payouts are going to be a little bit different because I mean you're going to see, you know, there's a straight up bet on what is it, 26, and then everything else is a split bet. So a split on 0.3, 12.15, 32, 35. So we'll kind of see where we land here. Yeah, see, we didn't make that one. 22. 22. Yeah, okay, so we're still hitting Voisois. We're actually going to rebet. So the nice thing is I mean, even with a straight up bet, and actually it's gonna be a little bit different from Mega Roulette because I think the odds are a little bit lower on straight up. Yeah, so the odds are 29 to 1. Normally they would be on a regular table without bonuses. You're going to see 35 to 1 payout, and then splits are paying 17. So, I mean, yeah, you still get a pretty good payout for this, regardless. 22, so we're at a depth of 10 on zero. It's 21. That's close, but let's continue to bet here. The nice thing about these lower bets is that you can flat bet a few more times than often, or a few more times before you know, either start your martingale progression or your Fibonacci progression with that. So we got 21, right? We got 21. 21 was right here. Yeah, 31. Yeah, so we're kind of a little bit on all over the place, but I still think we're a little bit of a bias on this this lower side here. So just to kind of throw that out there, since we do kind of have a bias. Now if you really get into like the forums of the psychology behind these wheel spins, you get people that say that, you know, each spin is completely separate from from its last spin. So there really is no biased, as they say, right? All right, so we hit 16. Yeah. So 16. Yeah, I really wasn't paying attention to these. I think I'm maybe up like 20 cents from the time before, from the previous bets. But anyway, what some people will say is that each spin is completely independent of every other spin. And while I do believe that is, I do believe that is correct, and in my opinion, I do think that largely comes down to a manual-based spin. So very much like this guy, we Mega Roulette, and Mega Roulette does have a host, a live host that picks up the ball and spins it. You'll see in some forums, you dig enough, that some people will actually track the ball spin of the host, and some people will only play during the times of certain hosts because they are told to spin the ball the exact same way when the wheel is spinning left, and the exact same way when the wheel is spinning right. It's a really fun to get into read about the psychology and how deep people get into these. It's fascinating, to be honest. I don't necessarily get that deep, but I do find it fascinating. But you'd be able to see that when he picks up the ball, that he spins it, right about that halfway mark between the notches on the wheel, and that's when the wheel is turning counterclockwise. So the downside of that is when you get to things like airsoft tables, or not airsoft, what are they, like air tables? So they're tables that the ball is pushed up by air on the corner, and then it's pushed to spin by air again. And the wheel itself is spun by a motor consistently at a certain rate. So you kind of have some constraint factors in there with that, which again, people would argue that the spins are not independent of each other because you have controlled factors. Whereas a live host may have uncontrolled factors. They might be slightly off from the last spin, or completely off from 2 or 3 spins ago. Anyway, I digress on this. How does that apply to the wheel that we have here? Now, what you can do aside from the depth, you can do what I did. You can either continue to bet on the high depth rates and kind of go build your own progression. Zero game, you can get about 3 spins, I think about 3 or 4 spins in before I think it's 3 spins in, and then you have to double, and then if you miss again, I think you can add a chip, and then add a chip, and then double, and so on and so forth. You can kind of go through that, but as you can see here, with the depth of 13, I mean that's quite large, and nobody on earth has an infinite bankroll, and you're going to end up hitting the table limit. So I mean, you do have to keep that in mind. Some electronic games will have a table limit of 100, 200, 300. I have actually hit table limit of 300 and didn't even know that the table had a limit. So quite fascinating, but yeah, it was kind of a shock. But the other half here is you can form a bias around the wheel, and I haven't updated this since I've been talking, but you can see here that literally, the right side of orphans is highlighted. 1734 and 6 is highlighted. That's the entire left side of right side of orphans, and then you've got 1, 2. You got 2 out of 6, 5. You got 2 out of 5 on the left side. So orphans is hitting pretty good, but you can also see that you do kind of have a bias between tiers and orphans. So you can build a strategy around that. This isn't a you can't visualize this representation without this. Now there are other things that you can do. The other part is, if you have a bias on this side, you can do the opposite. You can start betting over here. You can bet on Voice-Wide de Zero, which will include zero game, by the way. You don't have to bet on just this. It's a smaller bet, but you can do Voice-Wide, which is going to encompass everything on the wheel from 22 to 25 clockwise. All right. It's a really good bet. I like these bets. I bet on Voissois and tiers all the time. You can either have a bias or you can have a counter bias, right? So if the bias is on, the lower half of the wheel, tiers and orphans, you can build a depth similar to this and bet counter wise. So I mean, you've got a couple of different ways to use this tool, which is why I made it. This is something that I actually use, and I haven't actually seen. I've seen variations of this, but what's nice is I took what I use and I made what would fit me, and hopefully, will fit you guys. And that's kind of where I'm going to leave this video. And give this tool a try. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe there's something else that you want in here that you want to see. And if that's the case, leave a comment in the description, and in the comment section below, and let me know. What would you guys add to this? And yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit. I've got more tools coming out for roulette. I've got other tools coming out for other games. Don't worry. They just take time to finish building out. I've got, I mean, by the time 777 Suite is done, we're probably going to have close to about 25 different tools for 25 multiple games. Okay, tons of games. All right, we haven't even scratched the surface. Okay, so. Without further ado, I'm going to leave this here. Check out the tool. If you guys are interested in getting into the tool, and you maybe want a discount, hit me up on one of the socials above. Twitter is the one that I check the most. Send me a DM and tell me that you want a promo code for the tool, and I will most certainly let you guys know. Okay, I'll send you one. All right. Other than that, stay safe, stay healthy, stay decentralized. I will see you guys in the next one. Later.